So next up today on NN Startup Day, I'm delighted to welcome Charlie Stone from Shire Sounds Radio. Charlie, how you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, really good actually. And it's been a fantastic day so far. We've had some great conversations and videos from various people around the area. And delighted that you've taken the option to come and join us on the day today and talk about what you get up to. So do you want to give us a background to Shire Sounds, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so we're a community radio station in Kettering and Northamptonshire. We currently broadcast online on mobile, smart speakers, etc., to our audience for the whole of Northamptonshire. That's kind of what we do. There's kind of three main aspects to the business. There's that side of it, which is the entertainment and news providing service. We also then offer training opportunities to under 18s across Kettering, again, Northamptonshire. So they come on our academy program. They're there for 12 weeks. They learn the skills that they're required to present and produce a basic radio show. And then there's also the side as well that gives opportunities and support packages to local businesses. So local business, obviously particularly startups as well. They can come with us if they're a charity. They get free advertising, or non-profit, they get free advertising. If they are a for-profit business, then we've got very affordable business advertising and sponsorship rates that we offer them that gets their message across Northamptonshire on the radio.
Fantastic. You did all that inside of about 4 minutes, so that wasn't too bad, but no, all good. So Shire Sounds, you've been going 3 years now?
Coming up to 3 years, very closely coming up to 3 years. In a couple of weeks, actually, July the 7th was our official launch birthday, and that'll be the 3-year mark.
Yeah, and how's it been for you over the last 3 years? Obviously, we've seen a lot of change with the pandemic and things like that. But what's it been like from literally an idea through to where you are today?
So from an idea to broadcasting out of a friend's dining room to where we are now with our own kind of semi-purpose-built studios on Market Street in Kettering, it's been incredible. It's been massive. There have been some massive ups and there have been some massive downs as well, with particularly the pandemic, which brought those along as well. In hindsight, I mean, obviously nobody could have predicted COVID at all. But when we launched, it was probably not a great idea if you take COVID into account, because as soon as we started to build stuff up, we had to shut everything back down, kind of, because no one was open, and rightly so, in yourself working in business as well, you don't want to advertise a business that's closed and customers can't come to. So that's kind of, it had that knock-on effect on, whilst we could still put the great radio shows out, we didn't have an income because we didn't have those advertisers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, a lot of people saw the challenge of COVID as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you've got the businesses looking to cut their advertising, obviously that would have had a knock-on effect. And but well done on getting through. That's the main thing, because you're finding business that there's always a headache somewhere. Doesn't matter where it is, and then you go and get COVID getting in the way as well, which everybody had that headache. So I suppose that's a positive at the end of the day. So,
but especially the last sort of 18 months, 12 months, we had a massive climb in everything that we do. Everything from support we've had from businesses and the community to the running and the structure of the business. We've just been successful, and we're just about to go into the process of using grant funding, upgrading our studio equipment. So our Studio 1 in a couple of weeks' time will all be ripped out from its. It had working equipment, but it's second-hand dated equipment that's gotten us by for the last couple of years, and that now gives us the opportunity to buy the equipment that's used in the industry, rather than using 10 years out of date equipment, to upgrade so that we've got industry standard, everything's industry standard, professional equipment to use that looks nice as well as works nice.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's been great to follow your progress as well, because obviously, when I first met you, just probably 3 years ago, it was an idea.
3 and a bit years ago now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was an idea though, and it was a case of, right, can this, what value can this add to the community? And obviously, I can see the value that you could add, and seeing where you are today is fantastic, following the progress that you're making, and well done, because it is a challenge running any form of organization or business, and obviously you've made it to 3 years. And let me ask you, Charlie, what's been probably the most exciting part for you? Would you say it was the actual launch itself?
Yeah, the actual launch itself was quite exciting, following quite shortly actually by the project we're about to go through, as I said, the studio upgrade, because it's given us the opportunity without any, obviously there is some funding limits, but with almost no funding limits to buy what we need to get the studio to a modern point. And it will just be nice to have something that's on par with the big boys, if you like, of the radio industry. So yeah, that's probably one of the most exciting things besides the launch that we've done.
And of course, the other exciting, if I look back through the last number of years, I think tremendous opportunity for you was hosting the Christmas light switch-ons. I mean, obviously that's going to be huge.
Yeah, that's always an event that massively slips my mind, because it's Christmas and it happens so quickly. There's so much planning that goes into that day, not just by us, but singers, Northamptonshire Council who organised it as well. There's so much planning, and then those 4 hours just go by like that, and then you forget about it for another year. But yeah, that was massively exciting to stand in front of 1,000 people 2 nights in a row. Not 2 nights in a row, but 2 years in a row. It's incredible, and to have those people and to get our name out in front of the communities, it's amazing for us.
Yeah, and especially you touched on earlier about the sort of the younger generation getting involved with the station, and of course, it's an amazing opportunity for them to learn skills and everything, but for them to actually present in front of their hometown, and amazing experience as well for someone that is up and coming or wants to get into radio broadcasting.
Yeah, and even not even just as far as that sort of. We did obviously we're playing music as well. We're bringing singers on. We're organising stuff. And we have got a couple of team members that are a little bit younger that are doing really well already, but their confidence is not just a little bit when they're put in front of an audience of 1,000 people. I'm sure you're the same when you're standing up the front talking. Although I suppose you're quite confident now, aren't you? I
don't know. It's debatable. I'll be honest. I mean, to be honest with you, if I look back at my own public speaking journey, I've never been professionally trained. It's a case of just get up and do it, and if if you go wrong, just admit it and get on with it. But for me, I mean, it was such a big transformation from coming out from behind a computer screen for many years, all of a sudden then running a business and then speaking publicly in front of people at the business awards and things that we've actually created. So it's been a huge education. But what I will say is, and what I admire about what you guys are doing is the fact that you are the younger generation, but you're getting this out. If you're going to get something out of the way early, you're getting that one out of the way early. And talking publicly is one of the world's worst fears. The fact is, you go through your marriage and your weddings and your children's christenings and whatever in your mid-30s or whatever, and it would just be natural for you. But for us, it was like, oh my gosh, it's such a big thing. But I think it's brilliant seeing people growing as well, and that's what we like to see as well within what we're doing with NMBN, but also with the fact that seeing the growth of the station as well with younger people growing key skills as well. So well done.
Yeah. As I was kind of saying, was sort of in a studio, you are sat there, all right, you're still talking to hundreds in the community, but to you in a studio, you're just talking to a load of computer screens. When you're on stage, you are talking to thousands of people. So we help them build their confidence as well. So we'll bring them in and we'll still bring them to the events, and we'll find them jobs backstage, organising the music, making sure that it goes to time, making sure that singers and performers are outside the stage ready to go. And then we'll slowly bring them into the smaller events and get them talking there until eventually, before they know it, they're at these massive Christmas light switch-ons in hosting and introducing people. So we kind of have a little training plan for building confidence ourselves as well.
Yeah, and that's the academy you're talking about there, yeah?
Yes, sorry, yeah, the academy and actually presenters as a whole. There are a couple of presenters I can think of straight away on our team that are full-time presenters. They've got no problems at all talking in the studio, but if you take them out to an event and stick a microphone in front of them, then they'll their confidence to drop, as you'd expect, a little bit. And we'll work with them as well to build their confidence and get them to a point where they can do live entertainment, live events, and live posting.
Yeah, because it is a big thing. The whole public speaking thing's a big thing, but you know, when you're talking to no one in the studio, but you're broadcasting, it's completely different to actually presenting, you know, out in front of people. And I found it, you know, it's so different being in the studio compared to actually being out, you know, in front of people. And I think whatever it is, you know, you find your level, but also if you don't enjoy it, you don't go back. But if you want to carry on progressing, then obviously you do and everything, don't you? So, but as I said, you know, big fan of what you're doing. Loves to see what you know the station's up to, and obviously your journey from literally an idea to where you are today, coming up to 3 years old. You know, fantastic. Well done to everybody that's behind the station, and because it's not all about the first 6 months or anything, it is about the sustainability as well. So obviously that's coming to a fray these days as well, isn't it? So let me ask you a question here, Charlie. Some of the biggest challenges you faced since you started the station. Obviously, there's been challenges, but how do you find getting out and actually marketing a business when maybe you've never actually marketed a business before? How have you actually found getting out there and doing it?
A lot of massive learning curves in a way. You know, when I first sort of started doing this, I thought it'd be easy just to stick a few posts out on Facebook, and you know, there should be nothing wrong with that at all. And it's only at that point you realise, and we're still realising now, that actually Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you want to use, TikTok these days only accounts for a really small amount of your. It's very powerful tool, but it only counts for a small amount. And we do have ideas and the plans and the pipelines for spending on marketing, so banners, posters, etc., to go out in town centres, take with us to events. The events are a massive one. Anything I would say if I can only say one thing to all of the startups that are here, is that if you can get out to as many events as you can to get your name in front of people, do it, because they are your biggest sellers, if that makes sense, because you're there, they get the opportunity to ask you any question they can think of. Even if sometimes you will get a really, forgive me, silly question that you think, really? But actually it gives them the opportunity, and because you've answered that question, they're a lot more likely to want to work with you, to be your client, to listen, to watch, because they've had that face-to-face interaction. So yeah, I definitely say get out to events, get out to, you know, market days, business meetings, etc.
Yeah, fantastic, and thank you for sharing that tip, because I was actually going to say, have you got a tip for any anyone thinking about coming into business? No, it's great. I mean, it's brilliant what you've just done there. And yeah, talking about startup businesses, obviously you've got an audience. You know, how could startup businesses benefit from the work that you guys do in the community?
So interestingly, actually, without trying to sell ourselves too much, radio is a very, very, very proven working way of advertising and marketing your business, because everywhere you go, there's most likely the radio on. So you've got garages, shops, schools, reception, waiting rooms, they've all got the radio on. You've got people there working, you've got people there, you know, there is a customer that radio is on, and regardless of whether you want to listen or not, you will find yourself listening, and you will find yourself taking in the information that's shared via audio, because obviously we close our eyes, not close our ears. So we will always hear that. We offer advertising and sponsorship opportunities for all businesses across Northamptonshire and beyond as well. Sort of if you cater for Northamptonshire but you're not based here, you know, we'll quite happily have a conversation when we have a chat with you. These are all our sort of prices and prices that work for everybody. So we'll work with you to make something that works for you. We're not going to slap a price on everything and go, there you go, we expect this. And we'll work with you to build our commercial team will work with you to build a package for advertising, social media, online graphics, etc., that work for you. And of course, if you are community, non-profit, etc., then we do that absolutely free of charge.
Yeah, fantastic. And, I suppose you're right. You can't close your ears, but you can close your eyes and obviously not pick something up deliberately or turn your head away. But when it comes to radio, it's being broadcast. It's it's within your earshot, isn't it? So, I hear the radio advert you do play out saying that. And, I think it's a great advert as well. It's totally true. You can't close your ears. Well, you can, but you look a bit stupid, aren't you? Walking around with your hands over your ears in public.
You can't do this, but...
Yeah, brilliant. So if people are looking to connect with the station to talk about advertising through yourselves, what's the best way? Is it to go onto the website and contact you that way?
Yeah. So if you go through the website, we've got I think it's called an advertising. I think it might be advertise with us or work with us or sponsor, something along those lines on the top thingy bar with the buttons. There's an advertising page that does very briefly talk you through what we do, sort of what we deliver, what we cater for, so you can see from there. Then at the bottom of that is some contact details. If you're still interested from there, drop us a line. We can send you our media pack, or we can arrange for our commercial manager to get in touch with you. I can get in touch with you. Anyone really can get in touch and sort of have a chat with you and see how we can help you.
Yeah, brilliant. And sort of talking about radio advertising duration, because obviously people that come in and advertise for 1 month in a magazine or 1 month from a radio station, they're not going to get a lot of benefit. So what sort of time would you say that people need to consider advertising with a radio station if they were thinking about going that route?
So you've definitely at least got to give it 3 months or a quarter of the year to actually see anything back on it. We get a couple of people come to us and say, I want to advertise just for 2 days. So I'm like, no point, save your money. But if you definitely do it for a quarter, at least, I understand some businesses, they don't want to part with that kind of money, but actually we're not looking at masses and masses amounts of money. So come and see us. We can chat to you about what we can do for you. Having said that, we also don't do contracts. So we don't, sorry, that's not the correct word. We don't do, you must be with us for so long type of contract. So if you are adamant that you want to be with us for a month just to try it, we'll obviously advise against it, but that's your decision. You do what you want to do. We do it on a 4-week basis. So you advertise with us for 4 weeks at a time. You want to cancel, that's fine at any time. Just give us the 4 weeks notice before you want to cancel. And yeah, just as simple as that.
Yeah, fantastic. And 2 final things for me. So the first thing is, what's the biggest thing you've learned since launching the station? Would you say as words of wisdom to someone either starting a business or looking to start a business?
I suppose this might come across as a very negative one. However, what I would definitely say is that there are days where it looks like everybody out there is out against you. It will look like that there is absolutely no point in doing this. You might as well give up, go home and go and work in Tesco's and get an easy life. However, for the good days and the end product, it is definitely worth it. So those bad days where you go home and you think, I'm going to give this up, just turn off for a couple of days, a day, whatever you need, come back to it, and you'll realise that it was a good decision to not jack it in.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, because people think that businesses and that is so straightforward. As you say, a couple of social media posts and you're gonna get £250,000 of sales through the door, whatever. It doesn't work that way, as we all know. And obviously, what we're talking about with today and some of the guests we've had on earlier today, and of course, some of the guests we've got coming up this afternoon as well. It is about real stories and real situations from people that actually walk the walk rather than just reading it out of a textbook. So thank you for actually raising that. And half of these things is how you overcome that challenge. And obviously you guys are coming up for 3 years old. You've had challenges like every business has, and it's how you overcome them that make you stronger. And as I keep saying, well done on what you've done so far. So I suppose.
Thank you. Yeah, and one thing I would say as well is that I'm absolutely no business expert. I've not got as much experience or training as you have in business, but I'd always be more than up for a chat with anybody who would be interested to have a look around at what we've built, have a chat in a bit more detail about how we set up or what we do, etc. Whether they want to come in and have a look or have a phone call or an email conversation, I'd always be up for that. But obviously I've got no experience, but I do believe that talking to people that have done it is far better than talking to those that are almost reading out of a textbook from a business support advice.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, you know, it's critical. I mean, obviously today is all about real stories from people that are either offering support that have been there or those that actually walk themselves. And, you know, it's fantastic. And of course, the second question, where can we listen to Shire Sounds Radio?
So you can go on to shiresoundsradio.co.uk. There's a couple of listen buttons on there. There's also a ways to listen tab, which gives you all this information written down as well. You can download the MyTuner Radio app and just search on Nearby. We are the first one that comes up. Or you can just ask your Alexa to open Shire Sounds Radio, or your Google devices to talk to Shire Sounds Radio. Very, very soon we'll be coming across the county on DAB as well. Yeah,
fantastic. We'll look forward to that. And, you know, obviously, once again, Charlie, thank you for joining us today. You know, it's been a great day so far. We've got plenty more coming up as well. And, of course, you know, keep up the good work and look forward to following your progress. So, you know, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a good day.